Hey everyone, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. I got the Cream Bigum shirt on today. Why? Spice Adams. Why? Chicago Bears. Adam Rank, NFL Network. We know he's a Bears fan, but he's done something like he's a habitual line stepper, and he stepped over the line for the third, not one, not two, but for the third year. And he admits when he starts every segment, I'm a Bears fan, so I'm going to just let you know that now. But he put a prediction out there for the Bears to win the NFC North. But we'll talk about that in his previous two predictions and where the Vikings really are going to end up coming up next on the Ron Johnson Show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now the Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. And it starts now.
Hey everyone, it's Ron Johnson. This is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. Got a loaded show today. We're going to talk about this NFC North ranking. The NFL Network puts it out every year. They have different guys do it though, so there's not one like Bible for them where they say this is going to be the NFC North. They let all their guys kind of get in there and do different teams, different schedules. Adam Rank, he's done it the last couple of years. He's a Bears fan, so you already know what you're going to get with that. But remember, this show and this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Just make every moment more by visiting FanDuel.com/Locked On to get started today. And remember, if you've never made a bet, you get that $5 no sweat first bet. Put $5 in, they're going to give you $150. Do what I did. I put my $150 on the Nuggets. That was a negative. Sorry, they were a 5.5 favorite. So I was giving 5.5 points. The Nuggets just had to win by 6. They were up by 3 at the end of the game against the Lakers. I was sweating. So it was not a no sweat. But then eventually the Nuggets won by 6. And so, boom, I won the money. Thank you to FanDuel. I was down in Iowa, so I can't wait to go back to Iowa for my daughter's game, as well as Colorado. And then when we're flying on the airplane, of course, I'm going to figure out the Wi-Fi on the plane and see if I can get a couple while I'm in the air in late June. I don't know what sports are going to be going on in late June, but I know I've asked Sam. I know hockey will be done, basketball will be done. So maybe I'll make some Twins wagers, and the Twins probably lose. And I'm definitely probably going to have to do this early season. I'm gonna see if they'll let me bet on where the Bears are gonna finish, because I guarantee I'm not gonna bet with Adam Rank from NFL Network. As I bring Sam Ekstrom into the show, my producer, Adam Rank, he has a job to do just like all of us. Going viral, hey, it's what it's about. And Adam Rank is probably going viral right now in Chicago, in Green Bay, in Detroit, and of course in Minnesota with the Vikings media. Instagram, social media. Adam Rank is doing exactly what he wanted to do, which is everybody talking about this. And Sam's going to put this up on the screen. Mm-hmm. But 2021 and 2022, Adam Rank ranked the Bears, and he ranked the Bears badly. Not badly like bad record, badly because he was way off. In 2021, Sam said the Bears would go what? What did we say? 9-8?
9 or was it 10-7? I think it was
7 was 2022. So 9-8. All right. 9-8 in 2021. So that's that slide there. Beautiful W's and L's. And honestly, when I was following along with like the 2021, he was kind of close. Like the first 4 games, he actually got it right. And then the next year, like nobody would have expected them to win that first game against San Fran, and they did. Now it was a monsoon. So without all that rain, the Bears probably don't win against the 49ers. But they did it. And so he gets, you know, what did my grandma? Oh, a broken clock is right twice a day. My grandma would always say. So he's going to get it right. He's a 50-50 chance. I mean, come on now. But he said they would go 9-8. They went 6-11. So not that far off. Not that far off. But Sam, last year, and you guys saw the slide, he said they would go 10-7, Sam. 10-7. Sam, what did they go in 2022?
I believe it was 3-14, the worst record in football.
Ding, 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 ding. You are correct. 3-14. That's why they had the number 1 pick. This year, Adam Rank has done it again, Sam. What did Adam Rank say the Bears would go this year, Sam?
A jaw-dropping, gobsmacking 12-5.
12-5. So, I don't know what funeral music sounds like. I forgot. I mean, I don't. I was thinking of like the tiny violin. That's not funeral music. I was thinking of dum dum da dum. That's wedding, but for some men, that's their funeral. I know. So I know there's a joke out there for somebody. But whatever the funeral music is, they might as well start playing it in Chicago. Because Adam Rank, he didn't put the nail in the coffin, but he's definitely putting the top over the coffin. He's digging the grave. Now, he's not 6 feet deep yet. He's probably only dug about 2 feet, but 12-5. I don't know, Sam. Not only do I not know, I can guarantee the Bears are not going 12-5. They're not. Like it's no way they're going 12-5, Sam. Now, again, I know the Vikings are in a transition. I know the Packers are in a transition, and I know the Lions are betting their life away. And so I know his thoughts on that. Like he's picking them to beat the NFC North teams and kind of dominate this year. Justin Fields is going to come out of his shell and be the second coming of Jalen Hurts. I know that because I've said the same thing. I think Justin Fields is going to do pretty good this year. I think he will beat the Packers in that first game. I hope he destroys the Packers in the first game. Like I'm with Adam Rank. Go destroy the Packers in the first game. Don't let Peter Bukowski be right. Don't let the Packers fans come back to my Twitter and talk up to me because the Bears are going to beat down the Packers in the first game. After that, though, Sam, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Now, this is what I will say. I picked the Vikings last year to go 12-5. Sam, where did the Vikings go last year?
13-4, Ron.
This year, I picked the Vikings to go 11-6, I think. And that means so the Vikings are probably going to go 12-5. Like I've always underbid for the Vikings. The year before that, I found out because the Vikings were going back into the Nostradamus archives when we did the schedule release show. And I said they would go, I think 10 and something. And I think that was the year they only won like 8 games. I think, right? Was that the Danielle Hunter year 2 years ago?
I think they went 8-9 the year Zimmer got fired.
Yep. So that would have been 2 years ago. Yeah. And that was the year I said 10. I said 10-6. So again, I wasn't far off. If injuries don't happen, and again, butterfly effect, Corey Cove, he hates that. You know, everybody knows. Not everybody. For those that don't know, he created the Initials game. Just Google it, people, for those all around the country that don't know Minnesota stuff. But Corey Cove's guy does a post-game show with me on Vikings Fan Line. And he always says the butterfly effect. You can't say one thing and not think it's going to screw up everything else. And for those that have not seen Sam, have you seen the Butterfly Effect movie with Ashton Kutcher?
No, it's funny because I'm a huge believer in the butterfly effect, like Corey, but I haven't seen the movie. Never
seen the movie. Oh my God.
I think it's a fascinating concept.
Sam, that's your homework. You have to go watch Butterfly Effect. Like that's the movie. Like literally, your life will be changed. It might change you wanting to go back into the future. Like and tell Blair Walsh, call a timeout before you kick this. Like aim right, Blair, aim right. Like that would change. You might say, you know what? I'm gonna let him just miss this left. I'm gonna let him just miss it. There's a new show out, by the way, Sam, The Lazarus Project. It's a new show on TNT, I think. First episode aired last night or the night before last. Me and my wife watched it. I will say that is another one. It's not on purpose, though. It's a group of people who are trying to stop the world from ending. They've stopped the world from ending like 20 times. And then there's mutants. They're not real mutants like X-Men, and they have this mutant gene that they can feel time shifts. And so it's like 2 guys that can feel when time's been reset. And so within this time reset, the first time he does something, saves his fiance from dying. Second time, he's on the phone now because they've figured out they have to stop this guy. And now they know, like, okay, we know where this guy's at. Hey, everybody died last time. We need you to show up. And so he's so caught up in the like, all right, I'm going to head into the office. I totally forgot. We know where this guy is. Let's stop him before he pulls the trigger to blow the bomb and before he shoots all our team. Like he killed their entire team pretty much. Headshots. Dude was an absolute marksman. He forgot that was the day where his wife, fiance, was going to get hit by the garbage truck because the teacher was mad. And also he kind of is going to blame himself, I think, because I don't know. I haven't seen the second episode yet because it's going to air next week. But I think he's going to blame himself because the reason why his fiance got pushed is because he gave a teacher that he did not like bad stock tips because he knew the future. Like he already knew there was this company that was going to tank. So when the guy asked him about advice on money, you know, like, oh, where should I put my money, man? I got some leftover money. And then it wasn't left over. What the guy ended up doing was thinking he had an inside track. And so he put his entire savings into one stock and that company tanked because the guy knew it because he had already went through this. You know, he goes through like 6 months of life and then they reset back to this. It's July 1st every year is the jump point. So they go through July 1st. If they make it all the way to July 1st again, they don't need to reset. But if they go and all of a sudden, you know, January 1st, something happens, the world explodes, boom. So again, another butterfly effect. So that's one thing where like, if you're going through this process, Sam, and you know, and you get reset, don't talk to Blair Walsh. Don't tell him to kick it right. Aim a little bit right. Because we just need the world to keep going the way it's going. Like Gary Anderson, you might want to go all the way back to 1998 with Gary Anderson. Don't do it. Don't tell him. Don't tell him anything. Just let him kick it. Watch the heartbreak of the Vikings fans. Because the Super Bowls may be coming eventually, maybe. But back to this Adam Rank thing, Sam. Like I said, I've picked the Vikings correctly for the most part. I've been 2 games off, but when like the Zimmer fired year, and other than that, I've been 1 game under. This year, again, I think maybe I'm going to be dead on. They're going to get 11 games, or maybe they might get 12. But I think the Vikings are going to get 10 to 11 games this year. But Adam Rank 12-5, Sam, 12-5. So he's basically signing their death certificate. He's saying, you know what? My love for the Bears, I don't realize how much of a bad luck gene this has been the last 2 years. I'm going to keep picking them to win the last 3 years. So this is the 3rd year now, 12-5. Sam, do you think there's any chance the Bears go 12-5?
No.
Why
that
not?
roster's not ready to win 12 games. You know, here's the thing. Justin Fields was actually doing some pretty crazy things last year, and they still couldn't win. Because their defense was atrocious. Their skill positions were atrocious. Like the only thing they had going for them were Justin Fields' legs. Now, if that continues all year, maybe they're a 500 team. I think that's the ceiling, 500 team. But he's got to show me a lot more with his arm.
He does.
You got to have a great quarterback to win 12 games.
Because Jalen Hurts, we know, like, again, people keep trying to say if Eberflus can do what they did. And we know Steichen coming from the Eagles is going to do that with Anthony Richardson. Like, we already know the Colts are going to look like. By the way, I did tweet yesterday, the Colts player, I don't know if you saw that, Isaiah Rodgers Sr., Isaiah Rodgers Jr., I think he's senior maybe, was one of the players FanDuel identified in gambling.
Lifeline. Yeah.
I tweeted that Isaiah Rodgers probably at halftime of the Vikings-Colts game bet on the Colts live because the Vikings were getting 90-1 odds to win. And I didn't want to make it bad. Like he would say, okay, I'm going to bet this 90-1 on the Vikings because I'm going to help them come back. Because I don't know what he did in that game. I don't even want to go back and look at that to see if he was like part of the reason why some of these big plays happen.
I'm looking.
But Isaiah Rodgers, if he did bet on the Colts live halftime, like, oh, there's a lock. I'm like, he just lost a big lock on that. And so then I get a text from one of the Colts former players, Cato June, friend of our show, program's been on. He texted me like, yo, I'm going to report you. He sent me my own tweet like, I'm going to report you if you don't stop with this Coach slander. And then I just give an emoji back to him. And he was like, yeah, it was insanity. I know. It was the most and so it's funny to hear from a coach on the sideline. He was like, it was the most insane thing we had seen as a staff. Like, he was like, it was crazy. And then he said, like, the insanity's still going because now we got to deal with a betting scandal because one of our players don't know how to just put the phone down. Like, don't bet. And there's the thing too. I'm a fan of easy wagers, $5, $10, you know, whatever. Poker with the friends, $25 with the friends. I don't understand though, like, what's wrong with betting on your own team? You're already betting on your own team when you step on the field. So unless a player is betting against their own team, like if he's betting on 2 teams that have nothing to do with him, who cares? Unless he has inside information, like, oh man, hey, yo, Matt Stafford's gonna be hurt, man. He's not playing this week. Bet against the. That's the only time I would be concerned. And maybe that's why the NFL and the gambling people are concerned. They're like, look, if players are doing this, they have inside information from their teammates, from like former like college teammates that could tell them about their team that has nothing to do with them. Like, yo, I'm about to put 10 grand on like what's going on with Tom Brady? Is he coming back for the Raiders?
Inside trade.
Like, and now all of a sudden you bet on Tom Brady being a Raider. You take the prop bet because you already have inside information. So I do understand that, like they're trying to figure that out. But if he just bet like the easy money line on his team to win, but if he's betting like, oh, the first catch is gonna be Paris Campbell, like, all right, I can kind of see them like, wait a minute, this dude knew the first play was gonna be a hitch. Like the coaches talked about it. Hey, first play, man, we're running a trick play. First play is gonna be a deep ball to Justin Jefferson, because I'm covering him, so I'm gonna let him be wide open, like stuff like that. I get it, like, but if you're just betting on your own team or other teams and it's not egregious and crazy, I just think we're overthinking this thing because you're putting sports books in stadiums anyway. You're promoting gambling anyway. You're partners with all these gambling sports books. You're in Vegas doing. I mean, come on, like what are we doing here? Like just like the marijuana, like everywhere is finally legal now. And it's so funny, Sam, not to go on a tangent, but the fact that marijuana is legal now in Minnesota, it has not prompted me to want to run out and get high. Like I feel like people overthink this. Like if we make it legal, everybody's going to do it. No, they're not. They're going to go to work and do their regular life and go take their kids to practice. Like it did not change me one bit. Like it went legal last week, Sam. I've done nothing extra to try to find THC gummies or anything like that. Like I just don't get it. I just think we need to decriminalize it. And the people that had nickel bags, $5 bags of weed on them, like they need to be free. Like, come on now. Now, if they murdered somebody, no, stay in jail. But I just think we overthink this. And the gambling is one of the long lines of things we've overthought. But here we go, Sam. I'm going to give you the quick prediction of what I think. You tell me what you think. Okay. Bears, Packers. I hope the Bears win that one. So I'm going to go Bears. What do you think?
Bears, Packers. You think the Bears win? I think, I like that too. I think the Bears win. I think the Bears.
Now here's where it gets strange. Bears, Bucks. I think the Bears can win that one. Thoughts?
Toss up. Where's it being played? Tampa. Wins.
Bears, Chiefs.
Yep.
Broncos, Bears. That's a tough one for me. But Sean Payton, I think he's going to get Russell Wilson going, but it's in Chicago. I think the Bears can win that, though. And I see where Adam Rank is going with this. You know what I mean? Like me looking at it myself. And again, everybody's like, the teams are the same team as last year. Because when I do the rankings every year, too, for the Vikings, I see the Twitter. I look at Twitter. I shouldn't. It's a wasteland. But I look at Vikings Twitter. I go to the Vikings Twitter page, and then I look at the video they post when I do the schedule, and then I read the comments. Some are great. Ron's good. Ron did this last year. He's dead on. He's smart. Some, oh, he's such a homer. He's wearing purple glasses. Oh, this is stupid. The Vikings are going to suck. Like, why do we keep doing this to ourselves? They're never going to make it to a Super Bowl. So I shouldn't read the comments. But I could see them beating the Broncos. So I get it. Bears, Commanders. I can see them beating the Commanders, Sam.
Yeah, Commanders don't really have a quarterback that I trust yet. So that's something.
So that's, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong on Adam Rank. I might have to do a testimony Tuesday at the end of the show for Adam Rank. But I'm at 4-1 in 5 games, Sam. Now, I do think they lose to the Vikings. So that's 4-2.
So you've got them beating the Broncos and
Commanders,
the
Packers, and the Buccaneers. Yeah, I might have to backtrack on Adam Rank a little bit. 4-1, 4-2 versus the Vikings. Raiders. Now, we don't know who the quarterback's going to be for the Raiders. That's a problem. Jimmy Garoppolo just had surgery on his foot. So, and that's in Chicago. They could beat the Bears. They could beat the Raiders. That's 5-2. Now, Chargers, they'll lose. That's 3. 4, they'll lose to the Saints. That's 4. Panthers, CJ Stroud versus, and he has to travel to Chicago. It's November in Chicago. CJ Stroud, I don't think has ever really had a cold game.
Mm-hmm.
That's Adam Thielen, though. He's had some great games against the Bears. But I think they lose. I think they beat the Panthers. That's 6-4. Now, this is where I think it gets interesting because they have to play the Lions twice in 3 weeks. I think they lose to the Lions, Vikings, and Lions back to back to back. I think they lose 3 straight games. And this is where I think Adam Rank, and I haven't seen his video even. I just saw the prediction, but I'm guessing that's where he has some wins coming. So if you put 3 losses there, that's 7 now. So now they're 6-7. So now if they're 6-7, Browns toss up. I can go 7-7 if they win there. Cardinals, who knows? But Kyler Murray, I guess, will be back by December. But it's in Chicago. It's cold, so that takes the Kyler Murray arm out of it. And he's little. Little people get cold fast. That's Christmas Eve. So who knows health wise? Sam, this is interesting because I got them losing 7 games so far. But you got the Cardinals. They finished the season with the Browns, Cardinals, Falcons, Packers. That's 4 wins, Sam. That's potentially 4 wins.
Are you sure? Am I talking to Spice Adams right now?
I don't know. Maybe the shirt is where I need to take my shirt off. Like this is
such an optimistic prediction that you got them winning every toss-up game. You kind of have them winning here.
Well, because that's right. Because if they win that Browns game, that's 7-7, and then they have 3 games left. They could go 10-7 if they beat the Cardinals, Falcons, Packers, but I don't think they will because January 7th is in Green Bay, and it's going to be absolutely cold. So I give Green Bay at least a split there. I think the Vikings and Lions run away with the division like head-to-head matchups this year with the Bears, but I think they do split with the Packers. So in my opinion, maybe 12-5 is no. But I do, the way I'm looking at it right now, I have them 9-8. I have them beating the Cardinals and the Falcons. Now, again, December 31st. This is the other problem. December 31st, they get 2 home games in January, New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve. So 1, they don't have to travel on the holiday, and 2, it's going to be freezing for the Cardinals, who have a quarterback with small hands, and then the Falcons, who are probably going to run the ball with was it Bijan Robinson, but they're tight end. What's his name? Kyle Pitts, right?
Kyle Pitts.
Yep. Can they get the ball to him? Is Ritter the quarterback? Can they get the ball to him? So I got 9-8 though. I will say that I got 9-8. Yeah, I got 9-8. And Sam, here's some breaking news, man. We'll talk about this in the third segment, maybe, or just maybe Wednesday. Breaking news, people. The LIV and the PGA are discussing a merger. They are announcing they are going to merge. I said that a long time ago, Sam. I said the LIV and the PGA. I just said this at the Vikings golf tournament. Why don't they just play together? Why don't they just compete against each other? Create teams for LIV and the PGA and go at each other like the East and Western Conference, have a championship at the end that people can watch, that the casual fan like me can really get dialed into. If there's a foursome, like some type of team way foursome at the end of this is the top team, so they're in the playoffs, or maybe all the teams show up and it's like a Royal Rumble of golf. You're going to just play like this team. You're going to go play this course. This team, you're going to play this course. And then you represent your team on these courses. We take all 4 scores and we have our championship team. Like you have your individual champion at each tournament, but then you have your team championship like high school. We can get a team championship in golf. Sam, I just saw it come across. Are you trying to read it now?
I saw it previously and okay. I'm devastated.
Why?
I'm devastated.
Why are you devastated, Sam?
I'm devastated because I hate LIV. I hate what they stand for. I hate their Saudi ownership, and I don't think the team concept makes sense. And I feel like there's been this battle between the two sides, and the PGA Tour was trying to kind of rise above it. And now they probably saw a money grab somewhere.
Yep.
And
definitely.
They said, "Oh, we can monetize this." And now everybody just has to be nice to each other. I would have rather had survival of the fittest. 2 sides duke it out. Somebody wins. This is happening too fast for me. I'm not ready for it. So I'm kind of sad right now.
Well, it's a merger. So now all these masters and majors, honestly, I think the PGA probably saw the writing on the wall with not having some of these guys in some of their events. They're not allowing them because they're on the LIV tour. And you're right. Yeah. It's a money grab. They realize, you know what? These guys bring money. They bring TV. They bring sponsorships. They bring eyes. They create a bigger rivalry. They create arguments between each other, friendly arguments between each other. I think they realize, look, why are we fighting this thing? These guys got money. We got money. Let's work this all out. And the PGA, the LIV Tour, they're going to back the Saudi team. And that's their rival, but now they're going to back them. They say, you know what? We're going to merge. Let's merge and let's do this. Let's figure out how to make this work. My guess is Amazon might try to get involved in this and start streaming some of these matches too. Who knows where this is going to go? But I know it. You're right. It's definitely a money grab. It was definitely a money grab.
I'm just very intrigued to see. We don't have to go too far down this,
No.
but I mean, I feel like the PGA Tour had more leverage, but the Saudi League had the money. Like they've got endless money.
True.
So I don't know like who's going to make more concessions in this merger. I'm really intrigued to see that, but I think it does mean that we're going to see more golf tournaments where all the best players in the world are competing against each other. That's ultimately good. I just need to see how it's structured.
Yeah, well, there we go. But been a little long in the first segment, Sam. We got to jump over to the second segment. We got the Daily 3 coming up as well. That's 3 questions, probably 30 seconds each today. We took a little long, but we'll be back. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Vikings OTAs. What do we expect to see? Who do we expect to emerge? The roster, this 90-man roster is nowhere near formed yet. Like this is one of those years, and I know we just, tomorrow we're going to have Garrett Mogg, newest Vikings receiver, and I love the conversation with him because there's a chance for him to make this roster, because he can do something a lot of other receivers can't do, and he's going to talk about that tomorrow. But we'll be back after a word from our sponsors. And remember, you can get this show anywhere you want. Amazon Fire, Roku, SiriusXM, iTunes, iHeartMedia, Spotify. We're everywhere. Just search Locked On Sports Minnesota and then just hit the follow, subscribe button. And also on YouTube, you can see my Spice Adams shirt. And the reason, Cream Bigums is probably the reason why I was so big on the Bears today, but not too big. I'm going to say 9-8. I know Adam Rank had them going 12-5. That's what we discussed early on. You let us know what you think. Are the Bears going to go 12-5 or more like me and go 9-8? You let us know. But we'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Yep, we are brought to you today by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make a fast break to the FanDuel Sportsbook app for these NBA playoffs. The no-sweat first bet has increased. Now $2,500 back in bonus bets for new customers if your first bet doesn't win. $2,500 back in bonus bets. That's one of the many great promotions going on all the time at the FanDuel Sportsbook app, which is safe and secure and very easy to use. When you win, you get paid instantly. No better place to bet the playoffs than at America's #1 sportsbook. Game 3 NBA Finals tonight. Game 3 Stanley Cup Finals coming up. Going back to Florida. Down 0-2 are the Panthers. Can they stage a comeback? FanDuel.com/lockedon for that no-sweat first bet. Up to $2,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
So, Sam, now it's time for Vikings OTAs. We know we had Garrett Mogg on the show. He's going to air tomorrow. Looking forward to talking to him. And the one thing when I look at this 90-man roster, Sam, and we know it's going to change a lot. Dalvin Cook might get traded in this. They might bring in, because whenever we talk about trades, like oftentimes it's been trying to get draft picks, trying to get money back. But there's a chance to also get a player. Like if they trade Dalvin Cook. Now, I know like the Dolphins, for instance. I don't know what your thoughts are on this. But if I'm the Vikings, and I don't know if it'll work, I'm trying to maybe pick off a guy like Xavier Howard. Now, I know they're not going to trade Xavier Howard straight up for Dalvin Cook. They just got Jalen Ramsey, though, so who knows? They are trying to build this San Francisco 49ers-like team. So Dalvin Cook does fit what the Dolphins want to do. But this 90-man roster is not set at all. But not complete. But if you look at OTAs, here's where I go with this. What I'm most likely or what I'm most excited about seeing or looking forward to seeing and how they come out of this in the end, going into minicamp for sure. Like that's like required minicamp where everybody has to be there too. That's going to give you a better idea because all the guys are back for that. I want to see where the receivers are. Like I want to see, because we know Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, KJ Osborne are good to go. But I want to see 4, 5, 6. Like who's 4, 5, 6? You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's not really truly set. Like I do feel like Garrett Mogg, working out for the team, as he said, being able to show the guys what he could do, 6'4", 200+ pounds. Maybe he is a guy that can be a dark horse type of maybe not on the active this year, but an Adam Thielen, get him, stash him, and then see what you have in him next year, where he becomes, a couple year, NFL guy that, solid special teams guy, not fast, but can be a wing on punt because he's bigger. He can be like a linebacker on punt. That's what I did. I was a wing on punt. I wasn't always a gunner. I did gunner once in a while. We went big gunners, but I was a wing because I was, at 230, 225. I was similar to a linebacker. So with his size, over 200 pounds, 210 pounds, 6'4", he does have that size, and he's going to get stronger. I mean, he's just coming out of college. So he could have that ability to be a linebacker type guy on special teams where he is a 3 or 2 or 3 on kickoff, not just a 1 outside like a receiver, just being like a trail guy. He could be more of a bruiser guy inside on kickoff. Punt, block, same thing. On punt, he could be a wing. On punt block, he could be, an interior guy. He doesn't have to be an outside rush guy. So there's a lot of things because special teams, you only have 22 guys that start. You have 3 subs on each side that kind of come in and play in sub package and other stuff. So if you do that math, that's about 28 guys. You have about 28 guys, give or take, that are guaranteed. 28. Then you have your 3 punter, kicker, snapper. That's 28. We're at 31 now. You still have 13 guys because you're going to have your 2 backup quarterbacks, of course. We know that. So that's 11. You have 11 guys because I did the math. I'm quick with the math, Sam. I didn't realize I was that good. But you have 11 other guys. They have to go special teams. So that's where I want to see. Wide receiver 4, 5, and 6. That's going to give you an idea to who the special teams coach likes because he's in that meeting too, because I've been a part of that meeting. He's in that meeting letting the coaches know, here's my ones for punt. Here's my ones for punt block. Here's my ones for kickoff. Here's my ones for kickoff return. And then he's kind of using the guys they say are going to be their guys, and he's seeing. But then he's like, look, there's 11 more spots out there. Who's our backup center? Okay, we need a swing, tackle, guard, whatever. So those are 3. So now we're down to 8. Who's your for sure nickel who's not starting? Do you have an additional DB who's going to be? So now you're down to 7. Of those 7, those are like true special teams. That's like your 5th, 6th receiver. That's your 9th, 10th DB. That's your 7th linebacker. That's and then of course because field goal is really important. We know that for Vikings fans. Then you have your 8th, 9th lineman. Because they're usually on those field goal, not field goal block, but field goal. So that's special teams is big in this. So that's where I feel like, I want to see that 4th. That's me. I want to see the 4th, 5th, 6th wide receiver, like who's going out there, who's getting the most reps, because it doesn't just happen in training camp. It starts now. Where you start now is where you can end up. Now you can make plays and move up the ranks. I did that with the Bears. I came in as like the 7th receiver. And then all of a sudden, day by day, I moved up and up and up. And eventually I was starting in the slot. They end up getting rid of Bobby Wade. He comes to the Vikings. They moved me to tight end and receiver. And then I end up getting hurt. So it is what it is. But you can move up. But I want to see where they start. And that's kind of where I want to go. I don't know. What are you looking forward to with OTAs?
Yeah. I think that Jalen Nailor has been the winner of OTAs so far. And I feel like he's got the inside track to be that number 4 guy. Okay. Jordan Reed told us that he loved Jalen Nailor. Maybe he had a little intel there. Keenan McCardell had a quote that 2 years ago when he was trying to build KJ Osborne's confidence in his second year, he put him in all the right spots to get targeted a lot in practice. Yeah. And maybe he's doing the same thing with Jalen Nailor because he's been really active. So I think Nailor. I think Brandon Powell is sneaky, important from a special team standpoint. And you mentioned that that's a big factor. And I think Powell's going to be your punt returner. You can use him in jet sweeps. I think people might be overlooking him a little bit.
Yeah,
and then
I am.
And then I think it's open. I think Rager is on the bubble. I think Rager's going to have to play his way into that. He's going to have to earn it. And if it's not Rager, it could be a wild card like a Tristan Jackson, a Garrett Mogg. Cephas Johnson is kind of this converted quarterback from college. Don't know. I
forgot about those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few candidates who could sneak in and steal that spot. But I love Jalen Nailor right now. I think you're right. That's always an intriguing battle in camp because you actually wide receivers actually get to do what they do. They get to catch the ball, run the routes, beat the defensive backs. If you're a defensive player, you can't really show how well you tackle. You can't be as physical as you want to be. If you're in the trenches, you can't be as physical as you want to be. But a receiver you can really see a true reflection of who they are in these practices.
Yeah, and when you look at, Rager, for instance, $2.4 million is what he's owed this year with the Vikings, his base salary. So I'm pretty sure either they can figure out a way to maybe trade him, late in training camp for a team that's looking for a punt returner or a kick returner. He did sign a $13 million deal with the Philadelphia Eagles, which had a $7 million signing bonus. So this is the thing. His signing is done because he got the bonus, and then he got a 2020 and 2021 $1.8 million signing. So he has no signing bonuses in 2022, 2023, or 2024 because technically the Vikings could pick up his 2024 fifth-year option. I don't think they did, right? They did not, correct?
They did not. So this is his final year.
So when you look at that, the fact that they didn't pick up his fifth-year option leads me to believe, like, they're like, well, look, it's $2.4 million. It's going to be dead cap if we just cut him. So can we deal with him? Can we use him? Yes. But if we can find a way to move him to a team who just lost their receiver, like the Cardinals, that's some things I think they're going to look at too, because the Cardinals are coming to Minnesota for training camp. Maybe it's an audition for Jalen Reagor. He's auditioning for the Cardinals right in front of their face. I feel like that happened one time. I feel like there was a team that like did a week with the Vikings, or the Vikings did a week with them, and then they literally traded or picked up one of their players after they were cut. I can't remember, and I have to go back into the archives, but I feel like that's happened before. But that's what I'm looking to learn, Sam. We know what you're looking to learn with the receivers and what happens there. I do agree with you. I like that. I like that tidbit of Keenan McCardell and putting KJ Osborne in the right spots because, yeah, maybe Jalen Nailor is the guy because he is fast. He is a Big Ten guy, Power 5 guy, so we know he's ready for big moments. And so, yeah, maybe Nailor is 4 for sure. And then we're looking at 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are definitely going to be special teams guys. So if Brandon Powell, and I think it comes down to punt return, if Brandon Powell beats out Jalen Nailor for the punt return, do you keep both? Now Jalen Reagor, this thing, jet sweeps, some of the others, I do think he was underutilized. I do think with his speed, there's things you can do with him. We saw him get wide open in some of those Vikings games. Now we did see him dropping balls. We did some wrong routes. But again, that was like he had just got there, I guess. So maybe, he didn't really have a full grasp of everything he was supposed to be doing. He was nervous. This has been a full offseason in Minnesota. He's had time with the coaching staff this year. So maybe we see a different Jalen Nailor in training camp because it only takes that for the switch to flip it and figure it out. So we think Jalen Reagor might figure it out, but you're right. Brandon Powell is forgotten. And again, after talking about all these guys, man, I like Thayer Thomas. All these rookies, we talked about. It's going to be tough now. It's going to be tougher than I thought because we weren't sure what we would feel about KJ Osborne, Jalen Nailor. We knew Justin Jefferson, though, and then Jordan Allison. And now that we know those are kind of the 4, it's only really 2 spots, I guess we'll say. But Jalen Nailor still has to earn his. But, yeah, you're right. If they're putting him in the right spots now, maybe he is for sure 4. You're right. Jordan Reed did say that. So he gave us some intel on the Ron Johnson show. But I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom. Coming up next, we got the Daily 3. That's 3 questions. We'll see, about 30 seconds each. Got some good topics there. Of course, Kirk Cousins is one of them. So I'm probably going to take more time on the Kirk Cousins because he's constantly disrespected. But I think they might have got this right. But remember, people, we're a partner with SiriusXM. And the Twins are headed to Tampa Bay to take on the league's best team Tuesday night at 5:40 p.m. You can catch every pitch of the Twins' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Twins. Well, Sam, it's your time now. It's the Daily 3. That's 3 questions. We'll go 30 seconds each. Take it away.
Okay, Chris Sims, he likes to rank quarterbacks and sometimes likes to stir the pot. He's been counting down his quarterbacks. He put Kirk Cousins at 12, Daniel Jones at 11, Matt Stafford 10, Deshaun Watson 9. What do you think of that stretch of quarterbacks with Cousins being behind Jones, Stafford, and Watson?
Well, we know Chris Sims is a little bit like he has to be anti-Kirk sometimes because Florio becomes too much of a Kirk guy sometimes. But then Florio does like to, piss on Kirk, I guess, for all intents and purposes. He does like to hate on Kirk every once in a while too and say he's not a gamer and this is this and oh man, I can't believe the purple, But I think Chris Sims automatically just goes to the opposite end. But 12, I think, is a good start. I said that. I said he's top 15, and he ended up being top 15 when people said no. And I thought maybe top 10, though. I personally think I know Deshaun Watson gives you the legs. Matthew Stafford gave you a Super Bowl. But over Daniel Jones head-to-head, they were 1-1. So I think Kirk Cousins, me personally, is better than Daniel Jones. But Daniel Jones does offer the legs that Kirk Cousins does not. And that's where that comes in. So I think he's close. What do you think?
I think that putting Daniel Jones above him is very prisoner to the playoff game. I think Daniel Jones Probably outplayed him in the playoff game because of his mobility. But over the course of a season or, couple seasons, man, I think Cousins is a better QB.
Yep.
I get Stafford. And Stafford is probably, fairly there, I think, in the glow of that Super Bowl. Watson, been a couple of years since he played, good football. And when he plays his best, he's very, very good. I don't know. I don't know how much recency bias there is in this list, but I think I would have been okay if Cousins was above those guys.
Yeah, I would have too. If he was 10-9, I would have taken it too.
Yeah. NBA playoffs, game 3 tonight. Nuggets favored by 2.5 on the road, Ron. So if you were on FanDuel placing a wager, friendly little wager, Nuggets minus 2.5. Where would you put your money?
Nuggets 2.5. I'm going to say the Heat cover. I think it's going to be a close game, or the Heat's going to win. I think it's going to, like I said, I think it's going to be a close game, maybe 1-2 points. Because the Nuggets have to win by 3. Now, again, I think this is a recency bias line. They just lost by 3. So they're giving them 2.5. It was 111 to 108. So I think they're just going with a recency bias. 3-point game. Let's give them 2.5. They're still the favorite, the better team. But I like what Vincent said when he was on the broadcast after the game, when they interviewed him. He said, look, people can keep doubting us. We don't give a darn. And he didn't say darn, but he said we don't give a darn. So I agree with that. Who cares? But I would put my money on the Heat for this one. I just would. I would say the Heat win this and they cover for sure. I don't think the Nuggets blow them out by 5-6 points, but I could be wrong.
I'm always tempted to take home underdogs. So if you're getting points in Miami, I kind of feel good about that. But again, the Jokic has a way of just settling a game down and dictating the tempo. He only had 4 assists in game 2 and they lost. I think he's going to be super involved in distributing, getting his teammates involved, and that might get the Nuggets back on top. So we'll see. I'd probably wager Miami, though. Last one, the Ravens have signed former Viking first-round pick Laquon Treadwell to a 1-year deal. Treadwell last year for Seattle, he had 6 receptions. Will Laquon Treadwell, Ron, ever be an impact receiver in the NFL again?
I mean, possibly. Anything's possible. Like, I'm never going to doubt a player and what they could do in this league because, a lot of guys sometimes fall into the shadows and we forget, and then they have a breakout year. So who knows? This is the thing I'll say. You got Rashad Bateman. You got OBJ. So who knows if, he's going to get hurt or what's going to happen. You keep hearing Lamar Jackson looking for more weapons. But, Laquon Treadwell in that totem pole is going to be pretty far down on Lamar Jackson's target list, at least to start, because he did all this to get OBJ. He's gonna they're gonna try to make sure they get it. But there's the thing: can OBJ come in healthy? Is Bateman healthy? You got 2 receivers that did not finish the season healthy, and so Laquon Treadwell, if he is healthy, and I've watched his Instagram, he's been working out, looks healthy. He's probably in OTAs now as the 2 receiver. Like, he's out there now because they just signed him, so he's gonna be out there as until he learns the offense. But he's gonna be out there as like the 2 in OTAs. So until OBJ and Rashad Bateman are back and healthy, it's Laquon Treadwell's show. So who knows? Like, we keep thinking OBJ and Bateman are going to come back gangbusters. You just never really know after injury. So if it goes that way where those guys don't make it back, or at least don't make it back for week 1, 2, Laquon Treadwell might be the start out guy. Who knows? 10 catches to start the season off. Who knows? Who knows? You just don't know. And I know Lamar Jackson, we know he's going to run the ball, but he always has that outlet. You're going to get a lot of man coverage, so they don't run a lot of zone on Lamar Jackson because people don't think he can beat him with his arm. So, yeah, you just don't know. I don't know.
One reason to like Treadwell in that scheme is he's a great blocking wide receiver, and they run the ball a lot. So that's helpful. If you can trust him on the field when Lamar Jackson's doing his read option, RPO stuff, Treadwell can be out front trying to pave a way. So there's one thing that he can do at least.
Well, I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom. That'll do it for us today on the Ron Johnson Show. If you want endless Vikings talk, endless sports talk, make sure you subscribe to Locked On Sports Minnesota on YouTube, where you can find all of our videos, all of our shows, instant podcasts this season. We're going to have instant reaction after every single game. We also bring you the Vikings press conferences with all the biggest news. Anytime something happens, we're going to be there for the press conference. But like our videos, leave your comments in the section and make sure you subscribe on YouTube. You just need an email address. You subscribe and comment. And please, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartMedia, wherever you get your podcasts, Just go there and like it, people. It's a great Tuesday. Didn't have a testimony today. Maybe it'll be a testimony Tuesday on a Wednesday. We'll see. But I'm Ron Johnson. That's Sam Ekstrom. Have a great day.